In studio recording, Bill tries to sing a new version his old lawn, but he always sings the wrong lyric. He gets reprimanded by his manager several times until he be able to sing the new lyrics correctly. In a bedroom, Jamie is almost late for occasion. However, he doesn't forget to say goodbye to his girlfriend who is not be able to come because she is sick. He runs away in a hurry, but he comes back just to make sure that he has said, "I love you" to his girlfriend. In a Daniel's workspace, he calls his friend Karen since he keeps remembering his deceased wife. Karen picks up the call. She tells him that she is busy with her morning routines as a mother, so she apologizes and will call him back afterwards. Daniel understands and he turns off the phone. After that, Karen asks his daughter about the big news. The daughter says that she will perform in the Christmas play as a first lobster. In a busy office, Colin comes in to offer the bread he brought. He flirtatiously greets the female customers, including Maya, who ignores him and make him sad. On a set, the two actors shot a pretty daring scene. John asks his co-star Judy for an introduction, which is greeted graciously by Judy. Peter ensures his friend Mark doesn't make any surprises that might mess up Peter's special day. All the guests stands up to welcome the bride. Mark encourages Peter while waiting. Juliet comes to the altar. David, the new prime minister, comes to his office for the first time. He meets Annie, who introduces him to the rest of the staff. Terrence, Pat, and lastly Natalie, the new staff who has a cute swearing habit. Then Annie leads him to his private workroom. He closes in sighs. Peter and Juliet officially become husband and wife. Once again, Peter confirms there is no surprise prepared by Mark. Mark says he does not prepare anything because it's childish. But when Peter and Juliet are about to leave the church, they are surprised by the choir, followed by a singer and the musicians who disguise themselves as guests. They know it must be Mark. After attending the wedding blessing, Jamie returns home as quickly as possible. Instead, he finds his brother in his house, who turns out to be having an affair with his girlfriend. Colin is failing to seduce women all over again. Daniel tries to be strong in his speech before lifting his wife's coffin to its final resting place. He gives a speech while recalling a conversation with Jo, his wife, who doesn't want to make him sad. At the wedding reception, Mark is filming Peter and Juliet. Sarah interrupts him, asking if he likes Peter and needs a listener who won't judge him.
Do you love him?
Peter answers with certainty that he does not like Peter. Then he immediately changes the topic of conversation. Harry admonishes Sarah to turn off her phone while she works, but it's just an excuse. Harry encourages Sarah to approach Carl, a man she has had a crush on for 2 years, 7 months, 3 days, and 1 hour and 30 minutes. Everyone knows, Carl himself included. Harry hopes Sarah can seize the moment of Christmas to confess. After talking to Harry, Sarah's phone rings again. Bill appears on a live radio broadcast to promote his song. With Mark, the radio host, they talk about the remake song. Bill answers too bluntly, which makes Jo sigh in exasperation. David is in the middle of a meeting discussing the American president's visit, and he decides not to take any action against the American president's treatment. He knows his other coworkers are disappointed, so he diverts their attention to the late delivery of snacks. Shortly after, Natalie arrives with the snacks. After the meeting, Natalie comes into David's office to deliver the file and, as usual, the snacks. She encourages David to be more courageous in making decisions. While driving, Cole will keep going to America to hook up with American girls. He believes they'll be attracted to an English guy with a British accent like his. Tone argues that it's a stupid idea because the girls will want a handsome and rich man. Despite Tone's persistent protests, he still insisted on leaving. Harry instructs Maya to prepare for the Christmas party. Those attending can bring their partners as long as they don't bring children. Maya says she won't bring her boyfriend, but she hopes to kiss Harry. Then she left Harry's office. Karen visits David's house. David talks about his son Sam, who keeps shutting himself in his room. He cries, worried that he won't be a good stepfather. But Kara tries to calm him down and asks him to be patient in this difficult situation. After talking to Karen, David takes Sam out to talk. The funny thing is that Sam is upset because he's in love when he should be mourning his mother's death.
Actually, I'm in love.
David is relieved. He thought the reason was serious. But Sam frowns. For him, there is nothing more serious than falling in love. Like any other night, Sarah waits for Carl to finish his work just to get a word from him. Carl greets her, then walks away, leaving Sarah bursting with happiness. Not long after, her phone rings. After his relationship ended painfully, Jamie decides to leave the UK and stays temporarily at his home in France. That morning, Natalie drops off the files at David's office. When she is about to leave, David invites her to sit down to talk so that he doesn't feel elite. David asks where and with whom Natalie lives. Natalie answers that she lives with her parents because she was dumped by her boyfriend who didn't want to have a fat girlfriend like her. David looks disagreeable to hear that and tries to comfort her. 3 weeks to Christmas. Bill's next promotional agenda is on a TV program for children called Blue. Again, Joe is frustrated because of Bill's reckless behavior that can ruin the show and even the promotion of his song. Peter asks Mark to help Juliet over the phone. Peter tells Mark to be friendly to Juliet before deconnecting the phone line to Juliet. Juliet asks Mark for a recording of her wedding day, but Mark seems unwilling to give it to her and hangs up. Harry asks about the progress of Sarah's relationship with Carl. Sarah says she can't do anything because Carl is too perfect for her. Harry agrees and they hit each other playfully. Their action stops when Sarah's phone rings again. Harry leaves Sarah to answer the phone, taking a moment to ask Maya about the Christmas party preparations. Maya says everything is going well with a seductive pose. Jamie is working when his doorbell rings. His neighbor Eleanor comes to drop off the woman who will help him clean the house, Aurelia, a Portuguese girl who can't speak French like Jamie. Although Jamie and Aurelia have a language barrier, Jamie always tries to build communication with Aurelia. The day of the American president's arrival arrived. As David and the president were about to go to the meeting room, they bumped into Natalie. The president is interested in her and tries to greet her flirtatiously. After a tough meeting, David and the president chat in David's office. David meets Natalie, who is about to deliver snacks to David's room when he is about to pick up documents in another room. When he returns to his office, he finds the president and Natalie in an intimate position. In front of reporters, David stands up to the American president's arbitrary both personally and politically. Everyone is pleased with his decision, including her sister Karen. David also celebrates his brave decision. He dances all around his residence office. 2 weeks to Christmas. Jamie and Aurelia's relationship are getting closer even though they communicate in 2 languages. That afternoon, while Jamie is writing near the lake, Aurelia comes to bring him a drink. He accidentally blows away his draft scripts. Aurelia tries to save the scripts that fall into the lake despite Jamie tries to stop her. Nevertheless, they end up in the river in the cold weather. Afterwards, they talk about the novel Jamie writes. Aurelia asks using funny body language and expressions. Then Jamie also answers with gestures and expressions. Since then, they fall in love with each other. Mark's house bell rings when he eats breakfast. When he opens the door, Juliet have come to ask for the recording video. Mark tries to quibble, but Juliet successfully persuades him. Juliet finds the CD on Mark's shelf. She watches the video and she finds out that she is the only one appear on the video. The recording video indirectly reveals Mark's pent-up feeling for Juliet. Instead of explaining to Juliet, Mark runs again and again, leaving Juliet in shock. On the other day after the incident, David asks Annie to transfer Natalie to another division. At midnight, Sam walks up to Daniel. Sam, with sadly and gloomy, says that his crush Joanna will return to America. Daniel tries to cheer him up with an iconic scene in the movie Titanic, but it doesn't work. Thus, Daniel tries to give him advice that there are still many people for himself and Sam. After transferring Natalie, David begins to feel oddly lost to Natalie's existence, who always delivered him snacks. Jamie drives Aurelia for the last time. He will return to England. The separation is very sad and devastated for both Jamie and Aurelia, who have mutual feeling. Sam watched Bill's sing performance on TV and suddenly gets an idea to get Joanna's attention. Sam back to home and tells Daniel that he will be part of the band of the Christmas show where Joanna will also perform. Since then, Sam practices all day, making noise all over the house. At the Christmas party, Harry dances with Maya while Karen is welcoming the guests around. As usual, Maya will seduce Harry on any occasion she has. Karen watches them from afar. Harry and Maya get closer, as well as Sarah and Carl's relationship. Carl asks Sarah to dance, they enjoy the dance with slow music. After the party ends, Carl drives Sarah to her doorstep's house. Sarah invites him to come in, and they are making out. In the middle of their activity, Sarah's phone rings and she immediately picks it up. Sarah makes an awkward for a moment, then Sarah tells Carl about her brother who she has to take care of because they someone to substitute. Sarah chooses her brother over Carl. After the party ends, Karen warns Harry to be careful with Mia. Karen smells something wrong about his husband and secretary's relationship. Harry tells Maya that he's going shopping for Christmas presents. Maya says to him that she's also expecting a Christmas present from Harry. On his way to meet Karen, Harry asks Mia what gift she needs. Maya, in a lilting voice, replies that she wants something pretty from him. While Karen is shopping, Harry looks around and decides to buy a necklace. The shop assistant takes so long wrapping the necklace, he almost gets caught by Karen. 1 week to Christmas. Cole comes to Tone's house with a big rucksack full of his clothes. He rents out his apartment to buy a ticket to America. In another more intimate scene, John gets the courage to ask Judy out on Christmas Eve and she accepts gladly. He comes home late. Karen greets him and finds a necklace in his jacket pocket. Jamie takes a Portuguese language course. He practices very hard. Karen secretly peeks the Christmas gift that her husband has prepared. She is very happy and anticipates it. The Christmas Eve. When Cole arrives in America, he asks quickly to be dropped off at a bar. At the bar, he meets 3 American girls, Stace, Jeannie, and Carol. They enjoy a chat and a drink together. After that, the girls invite Cole to stay at their place. That night, Harry and Karen's family open their Christmas presents together. Karen enthusiastically volunteered to be the first to open her husband's gift. After she unwraps the gift, she gets a CD of her favorite artist. It isn't the necklace she thought it was. The necklace turns out to be gifted to Mia. Karen cries quietly in her room, calming herself down so that she doesn't ruin the joyous moment of Christmas Eve. Eventually, Bill's song reaches number 1. He immediately gets a lot of party invitations. Joe stands at the back and shouts proudly at him. The Joe leaves Bill to have fun. John walks Judy to her house. Before Judy enters her house, she kisses and tells him that all she wants for Christmas is John. That makes John jump happily. Jamie skips Christmas Eve with his big family. He leaves for the airport immediately after handing over the Christmas gifts. On that Christmas Eve, Sarah's relationship with Carl returned to its earlier stage. After Carl leaves, Sarah bursts into tears, but she attempts to distract herself by calling her brother. She celebrates her Christmas Eve with her brother. On the Christmas Eve, Mark finally has a gut to confessing his feeling to Juliet in a romantic way. He decides to move on. On the Christmas Eve, Bill comes to John's house instead of spend the rest of Christmas partying with girls. Bill realizes that Christmas Eve should be spent the person he loves, and that person is John, his manager who has been with him for almost half his life. John is deeply touched and they hug awkwardly. On the Christmas Eve, David works alone. He takes a break by reading the Christmas letters from his staffs. Reads Natalie's letter and asks his staffs to prepare a car to Natalie's house. David has no idea what number Natalie's house is, so he presses the bell for numbers 1 to 100. Natalie's house number 101. David rings the bell nervously. When the door opens, it turns out that Natalie's big family is about to go out to attend her cousin's Christmas play. Natalie can't go with David, especially since she has to spend a month making her cousin's costume. So David gives Natalie's family a ride so that he can talk to Natalie even for a while. On the way to her cousin's school, Natalie explains the misunderstanding when the American president visited. Natalie confesses her feelings to David, but they arrive at school quickly. Jimmy arrives at the airport and goes straight to Aurelia's house. David finally gets to spend more time with Natalie. They will watch the Christmas play at the backstage. As David is about to go to the backstage, he bumps into Karen, who hugs him tightly. David then introduces her to Natalie and they tease David. After the drama performance is finished, the music performance begins. Joanna sings well, also Sam plays his drums as well as she does. The musical performance goes smoothly, with surprisingly ending as a kissing scene between David and Natalie's. When the whole show ended, Karen promptly discussed the necklace matter with Harry. He realizes his mistake immediately and apologizes. Daniel compliments his son's performance too, and Sam's unenthusiastic thanks him. Sam says that he hasn't confessed his feelings to Joanna yet, while Joanna will be leaving soon. Daniel tries to encourage Sam. Daniel bumps into a woman, Carol, while he is waiting for Sam to get ready. They get to know each other and are attracted to each other. Jamie arrives at Aurelia's house. Her father opens the door. Jamie tells him his intention to marry Aurelia, but she's at work. Aurelia's sister thinks her father is going to sell his daughter to Jamie. All her neighbors gather because of that. The departure time of Joanna's plane is getting closer. Sam wasn't allowed a boarding pass, but he cleverly bypassed airport security. He finally finds Joanna and says goodbye to her. Sam is dropped off by the security guard with a feeling of satisfaction. He also gets a kiss from Joanna. Jamie arrives at the place where Aurelia works. Jamie sees Aurelia upstairs at the restaurant. Then Jamie proposes to her in stammering Portuguese. Aurelia said yes convincingly to the proposal in good English. Everyone claps their hands. 1 month later, John picks up the pop star Bill at the airport. He greets the girl Bill brought with him. Jamie flew back to England with Aurelia. They are welcomed by Juliet, Peter, and Mark. Harry returns home after his business trip. He is greeted by his 2 children and his wife. Sam waits for Joanna's departure with his father, Carol, and Carol's daughter. Tone, who is waiting for Cole's arrival, meets Judy and John, who are about to go on vacation. Later on, Cole arrives with two girls with him, Harriet and Carla. And finally, Data's return after a business trip is lovingly welcomed by Natalie. Natalie runs to him and hugs David without bothering about the light of the reporter's cameras. Actually, love is everywhere and among everyone, no matter how crowded the world is. Although sometimes invisible, the arrival gates of every airport are proof that love is visible. Alright, thanks for watching. If you like more of this, please hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You can also share your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you with the next video.